Hello and welcome to the Horror House Podcast. I'm Dave.
I am Chris. We're two dudes that talk about horror movies and horror IRL stuff every week. So that's what we are. That's what we do this week. Dave, tell them what we're doing this week.
We're doing The Fly. But we got a twist for you. We're doing The Fly 1958. Vincent Price in the house. And you know what that means, Chris?
I know what that means. But tell me again.
Yeah, you so didn't forget. You just that means we bring in our resident Vincent Price expert. He is to Vincent Price what you are to Cronenberg. It is the one and only Jeff with a J.
Jeff, woo!
Woo, Jeff!
Say hello, Jeff.
Hello.
So that's what we are doing tonight, and we're gonna have a great time.
Chris, the other day I was out and this lady was yelling at me like, "Bring Jeff on! Nobody wants to hear you assholes talk anymore." I was like, "Mom, leave me the fuck alone. We'll put him on the show." My mom's a big fan, Jeff.
Oh, thank you.
There has to be what would you call it? A section of the Horror House people that
a contingent,
that are very pro Jeff, because Jeff, I'm gonna lie, some of the listens, the numbers when you're on, kind of go up.
They are through the roof. When Jeff, we were looking at Spotify for professionals the other day, and when Jeff is on the show, the listens coming from the women's prison go through the roof. So Jeff, good on you.
Jeff, thoughts?
Angie, watch out. You got
thoughts about your new popularity,
in the women's prison,
your new fame. Do you have any thoughts?
Nah, nothing at all.
You're not going to forget us little people anymore, are you, Jeff?
Oh.
If you don't want to answer him, just say no comment.
That's what the professionals do.
All
right.
Let's get right into it, and let's hit an ad and come back and talk about The Fly. All right, we're back. It's time to talk about 1958, The Fly. Who directed this? Kurt Newman. I think this was one of the last movies he made.
Yes.
And of course, starring the illustrious, can I call him illustrious? Vincent Price.
I definitely think he falls in illustrious.
Or iconic? Oh! Simultaneously. Pinch poke. As the kids say. Do they still say that?
Yeah. Owe me a gram of Coke. What is this?
So, had either of you seen this before?
Yes.
I had not. I thought I had, because I remember the black and white images.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was
black
and white.
Yeah, it's not black and white. It was filmed in color. The two sequels to this one were filmed in black and white. What? I'm not sure why that is.
It's
budget?
Cheaper.
Yeah,
that's what I when I started it, I was like, I forgot this was in color. I was kind of surprised by it. I had watched it one time before this. Jeff, you had seen it?
Yes, I owned it on VHS.
Nice. Your fandom just rose even more. The VHS kids are like losing their minds. What'd you think of it? Were you, is it near the top of your Vincent Price favorites, or kind of in the middle, or?
Oh, definitely towards the top. It is a very good film.
I was shocked when I watched it, because it was my first time watching it, but it starts out kind of a little murder mystery. Like, okay, who committed the murder? But then you have the confession right away, and that's something that seems like it's a very modern or novel story twist of, we have the confession, we know who did it,
Yeah.
Now we have to unravel why. And so to see something from, you know, almost 70 years ago that did that really kind of was cool to me. It was really neat to see.
I think mentioning that, the fact that she could confess to it, and then the cops were like, "But why? Why did you do it?" And then they never arrest her. You go on home and think about why you did it, and then you call us.
These crazy dames.
Yeah, the whole time I'm like, arrest her. What do you do? Just put her in containment. Containment's not the right word, but like detain her. There we go.
It was
Well, they had
19.
doctors and nurses. I mean, they thought she was insane. So
Plus, it
that's
was
true.
1958. As soon as she
right.
confessed to the crime, they arrested a black man. So some things never change.
Another thing, the where was this Montreal that it's supposed to take place?
Yes.
And they all have these French Canadian names. But like
Delete.
yeah, but the most like 1950s American actor accents, which I kind of love. I think that worker, that kind of laborer guy at the beginning, Gaston,
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
is one of the only, maybe the only one that had that accent that I'm afraid to
No, a
even.
lot of other people had the accent. It was mainly Vincent Price and the wife and
Oh,
the husband and a child.
they
And I think the
totally.
housekeeper didn't have like that French accent,
Okay.
but everyone else did. Commissioner Shiras had the accent.
Oh my God. See, they rattled me so hard. I couldn't even hear it after a certain point.
Yeah, it was filmed in California. I just don't know why they chose like the story setting of Montreal.
It's
But
because it's a short story set in France.
oh, okay.
So, in order to get, I guess, American audiences on board, they set it in Montreal. That way, it's got your French and your American kind of
Okay.
Okay.
accent. So
They
instead of being, oh, it's in France, and these people have no French accent
Right.
whatsoever,
So the story,
except for supporting characters.
the short story itself took place in France?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't even
okay.
realize until I was looking at this that there was a short story. I thought, being the Cronenberg guy, that I thought The Fly, 86, was just a remake of this, and then that was the chain of that was how it was. I didn't know that there was a story, so now I gotta freaking read
Yes.
stuff.
It's a short story that was in Playboy like a year before
Oh, that
the movie came
Okay.
out.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Have you?
I just read the short story. I finished it today, and
Oh,
the short story pretty much goes with the entire original film. There's only a few things that they had changed
okay.
or added to, but a lot of the dialogue is all there. So it's
Really?
very true to the original short story.
Okay. What were
Okay.
do
Very
you
interesting.
know any of the changes off the top of your head right now?
Yeah, so definitely spoiler alert. She commits suicide at the end of the short story.
Okay.
Uh, she doesn't ever not want after she sees him as the Fly. Uh, she agrees with him that he has to be destroyed and never hesitates in making sure he gets pressed.
So he's
Uh,
the press is in the story as well.
yes, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, once she sees him as the Fly ish, because I guess in the short story, he had already gone through the machine like 7 times after she had asked him to go back through again and see what happens. And so he does it again, and after that 8th time, he become parts of Dandelo, the cat, get incorporated. Before that, he says, "I was just the fly," and then after that, I guess you see that he's got a whitish head with pointed ears, and he kind of looks like a cross between the cat and the fly. So I think that's more with Cronenberg. As more as he goes through the machine, the more he becomes the fly. But since all the other experiments he did after Dandelo, it never. That's the only time that ever pops up that he gets some of his atoms and stuff mixed in, as after that 8th time.
Okay. Stupid cat.
Speaking of the cat, I hate watching these older movies, even kind of like 80s or 90s movies at this point, and seeing a cat or a dog that's really cute, and then knowing that they died 50 years ago. So, and then I'm immediately kind of bummed out. I'm like, God damn it. Quick aside. One thing in the movie, Andre checks at one point he checks like this wall that has at least 1,000 wires connecting in various configurations or whatever, and takes about 2 seconds and goes, everything checks, and then went on about what he was doing. Thoughts? Was he just pretending to be a scientist in the movie?
That's how scientists work, Chris. You're not a scientist, you don't know.
He looked up and was like, "Yep, looks about right." That just really.
He was a human calculator at that time. He's abacusing and he's figuring and plotting, and he knew.
It really struck me, just the amount of wires.
If he was a scientist, Chris, how did he get those neon glowing colors? That's when you know real science is happening. When you got lights blinking out of order or in sequence, and then you got glowing lights, then you know you're a scientist. That's all it takes. Scientist is exactly one step above Raver in intelligence, in the hierarchy.
Oh,
they're both way above us.
Raver. Next thing you know, he's fight dancing with his glow sticks,
whistle, shirtless in the lab.
Oh my
they cut
God.
that scene out. I heard he's just tweet tweet.
Is that what Return of the Fly is?
Yeah. He returns for them sick beats.
Oh my God. 50s were wild, man. The effects for him and for later the end with him in the web and the spider for 1958, I was like, this is fucking good. This is really good.
Right.
I thought the fly head was really cool. The acting, not so much. The acting is on par for 50s acting, but I thought the fly head was really cool.
His hand, I thought his hand was really well done as well. The big giant spider face, do we see the whole body or just like the front of it? I forget.
Actually, just the head. The spider at the end.
Yeah.
I think we get that aerial shot at the end when it comes in and bites the human fly hybrid.
I thought that looked a little off, but still pretty good. I was impressed. Usually, like I go watch Night of the Living Dead, and I'm like, God, this could have looked a lot better. It looks like George Romero gave somebody like a piece of coal and was like, go draw on some people. I don't know. But
splash
this
a little
is
blue paint on somebody.
Yeah. I could see like 1958 crowd seeing this and just like being like, oh, like, 80s people seeing Cronenberg being like, this is fucked up.
So, trivia time, gentlemen. You got your
Yes.
thinking hats on?
No.
And you know, maybe you saw it. Maybe you saw it in your research. I didn't do any deep digging, but I'm going to throw this on you. See, tell me what the boy in the movie, the son, he has a tie indirectly to a season 1 horror house movie. Can you tell me what that is?
Hmm. The man with the X-ray eyes?
No.
Really?
It's not. That's not direct. That'd be too direct if he was in that. This is an indirect tie to a movie.
I don't know the difference.
Okay. He's a tie to a original that we did the remake of.
Jeff, any guesses?
Not a clue.
Fill us in.
So the boy was a little bit of a star in the 50s. He had prominent roles in Houseboat, starring Cary Grant, Sophia Loren. He starred with Doris Day and David Niven in Eat the Daisies, and he interacted with ghosts in William Castle's 13 Ghosts, 1960.
Wow.
So I thought that was pretty cool when I saw that, like coming full circle.
That's some horror cred, like classic horror cred. Which there you go.
Yeah, Nat, he just needs to do 109 more movies, and he'll be up there with Bryce. So,
Speaking of which, what was the last movie the three of us did together for last season? It was a Vincent Price movie. Wasn't it?
House on
House
Haunted Hill.
on a Hill.
House on Haunted Hill. This is now our second. What do you think? Would you take a House on Haunted Hill, or would you take The Fly? Where are you sitting?
Ooh. Jeff, I'll let you go first.
If you had to pick one, Desert Island, just one.
I think I definitely take The Fly.
Okay.
Like it's the better of the special effects.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt there. That is true. Which is strange because, well, I mean, 1 year is nothing in Hollywood time. So they basically came out at the same time, I guess. I think I agree with you. I think I would take The Fly. I would love to disagree for the sake of having some argument, but I can't. It's in color. Wifey is running around in some 50s sexy lingerie, which means 50s lingerie covered everything from their neck to their ankles.
It's like winter. It's like a winter coat now.
Show me your ankles.
So
I'll be the dissenting opinion and say I'll take House on Haunted Hill, just because the cat. Just because the cat. I'll just whenever I see the cat and the fly, I'll just get sad because I know it died before the '60s.
Yeah, it probably didn't live very long.
Yeah,
they were probably at Hollywood back then. They were like, "Oh, we're done with it." Somebody make a coat for some rich white lady.
God damn! As soon as that fluffy cat came on screen, I was like, "Oh, god damn it!" I'm hung up on it. I'm sorry.
Are you familiar with Katie Price, the actress who played in starred in Sharknado 5?
Is that the baby I'm a firework girl? Or you're a firework? We're a firework? What's the song?
No, I don't know. I
was making a Katy Perry joke, Dave. I thought you'd hop on.
Well, I'm a loser. Are you familiar with Katy Perry though, or Katie Price though?
No.
Are you familiar with Alan Price, who starred in, who was part of the Animals? The House of the Rising Sun.
Right. I'm familiar with the Animals.
So
but not
Alan Price, is taller than Katie Price. Did you know that?
I didn't.
And Vincent Price is taller than Alan Price. So I found that
Okay.
out researching on a price comparison website. So
Jesus Christ. Oh, you
Oh.
son of a bitch.
got him.
I was like, there must have been so little trivia to find that Dave was like, how tall is this person? You got me.
No, I got
got
you.
me.
I got you. Good times. Good times.
Oh, Jesus Christ. One final piece of information that this movie taught me, and I didn't realize it until watching it this time, and maybe it's pretty apparent, so you probably already knew. But Japan and Nepal are the same place. I don't
Oh yeah.
know if you know that. When he looks
No, I
at
did not know that.
looks at the thing, and it's Japan, but backwards is Nepal. True story.
Okay. If this is a question for you guys, and this one I'm not getting you on this one, Chris. This is real. It's real.
I don't believe you.
If you look through, and there's plenty to look through, the Vincent Price catalog. What? Several have been remade. What Vincent Price movie? And Jeff, you're the expert, so maybe we'll throw to you first. What Vincent Price movie deserves a modern retell?
Jeff, you're gonna have to go first because I'm gonna have to look at some movies. I think I'm gonna have to go with The Tingler. I'm gonna have to go with The Tingler because it's
Okay.
I'm just not well versed enough to. Oh no, there's one called Green Hell. I don't know what that is, but I picked that one because that's a cool song.
Name based on name alone. The Monster Club. I watched The Monster Club, and it's like a anthology, and it is really bad.
Okay.
So, but I'm a sucker for anthology movies. So
Same.
yeah, I'd probably go
Same.
there. Jeff, what do you think, man? You got an answer for us?
Diary of a Madman.
Nice.
It's
also a good song.
Yeah,
it is a good song.
Go ahead. I just had to throw in the Aussie reference.
It's based on a book by Guy de Maupassant.
Okay.
Bless you.
And and the movie is really good. I believe from like another podcast that I've heard before that it's kind of maybe based on like Guy de Maupassant was kind of going insane towards the end of his life, and that's like maybe like a telling of maybe why he was going insane.
Okay.
But with like different characters' names and stuff, but some with the Horla and stuff, which the movie it talks about is like kind of these invisible like demons that can take control of Vincent Price's character.
Oh shit!
So
we're not doing Return of the Fly next year. We're doing that one.
that
sounds way
sounds
cooler.
awesome. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I love anything that deals with like sanity and perception. Is this right? Do I have a grasp on reality? Things that make you think.
Yeah.
So
I agree. That sounds pretty rad.
Yeah, that sounds cool as fuck.
Who was the guy that did who played the Vincent Price part in the House on the Haunted Hill remake? Do either of you remember?
Yeah. Shoot. Not thinking of his name.
Trying to get there. Jeffrey Rush.
Jeffrey Rush.
He was my favorite part of that movie because he looked so similar once that he was made up and everything that I don't know if he's still around doing movies and stuff, but can we bring him back? Do more Vincent Price stuff?
Is he alive? Yeah, he should surely he is. Surely he is.
71.
Yeah, he's on
better get to
the
work.
in the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh,
Really?
yes.
Yes, I think that's really what brought him to my mind.
Barbosa.
When that
He's
came
Barbosa.
out. Yeah, he's a very, very good actor.
So,
I loved
cool
him
story.
in that movie.
Cool story about him. Then I didn't realize that was him. Just I knew it was Barbosa. When he agreed to do Pirates, they wanted him really bad, so they kind of gave in to a few demands. He always wanted to be on the. I want to say he always had to be on the left side of the screen. I might have that backwards, but I saw in a making of that he demanded to be on a specific side of the screen whenever he was on screen because he felt like your eyes naturally went that direction and he wanted the audience to feel like they were always gravitating to him.
Really?
So,
wow.
It's very subtle, very neat. Surely like that doesn't hold true for everybody in every situation, but
maybe he had like a gnarly mole that we never saw on the left side of his face, and he's like, "You will only shoot me if I'm on the left side of the screen." So, you know what I mean?
that would have just made his pirates makeup better, though. So
Well, that's all.
he's like, I'm such a character actor that I rubbed frog ass on my face until I got warts, so that they didn't have to put makeup on me.
Slow down, Jared Leto.
I mean, is that any worse than sending dildos and used condoms to your Suicide Squad castmates?
Dude is a weirdo. Come on the podcast,
They keep
Jared.
hiring him.
Jeff will fight you. Tell him, Jeff.
Oh yeah.
See, I didn't think you'd agree.
Before a sneak peek behind the scenes before the show, Jeff was fired up, angry, screaming retribution. So I don't know. We're walking on. Chris and I are walking on eggshells tonight.
I am doing my best to not fuck this up. Before we get to our overall ratings, our overall opinions for this, is there any other topics, any other parts of this movie you want to talk about before we get there?
I do know that they had another movie made about the Fly, but they, no matter how much they did the character work, they couldn't get the wings right. So they made the Fly without wings, but then they had to change the name. They called it A Walk. Gotcha! I gotcha!
Didn't get me that time, Dave. I was ready for it. I knew it was. I felt it.
Man. Oh, man.
With that, we're going to do one more ad. We're going to come back, and we're going to give you the 3 of ours. I don't know if that's proper English. The 3 of ours reviews. What? How do you say that?
The 3 of us will give you our reviews. How's that?
The 3 of us's reviews. I'm just going to.
The real question is, how are you holding up 3 fingers right now?
No.
Thumb 1, 2, or the middle 3.
That's a good question. Before we go to break, I do index finger through ring finger for 3.
I kind of go back and forth, but mainly because of Inglourious Bastards. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of cool. But I'm going to do it like that. But
you've been influenced, yeah. Jeff. How do you show a 3 with fingers?
Same way as you, Chris.
Okay. I feel like we're starting to become the minority. Anyways, here's an ad. We are back, and it's time to rate this bitch. Jeff, since you are our guest, we're gonna let you go first. So whenever you're ready, what is your rating and your overall opinions of The Fly, 1958?
I definitely give it a 9 out of 10. It is really good. The acting, the special effects is way better than the other two sequel movies. Um, if it would have been more of a darker ending, I definitely would give it a 10.
The ending you described from the story, I mean, that's a real downer. I don't even know if like modern audiences are ready for a basically a murder suicide, and that's dark.
Yeah.
9, Jeff.
It's
9.
very dark.
I'll go next because Dave always rates higher than me, and so I'll bring us down, and then Dave will lift us back up, and then off we'll go. Because I'm not, I'm a Cronenberg boy, so I do prefer the more gory Goldblum of it all. But that said, I do like this movie, and I think the effects are really good. I think that cat's really cute, even though it's dead. So the French Canadian thing, I think is interesting. I forget about it, and then I start watching it and hear these names start to come up, and I'm like, that's right. this is Montreal. But then so, the leads are all just like, why I've never. I tell
right.
you. Yeah. And then
they've got the Deep South accent.
Yeah, my favorite thing is just how nonchalant they are about the Helene. Is that how you pronounce it? Am I pronouncing it correctly? His wife.
Yes. Yeah.
She's just like, I did it. I squashed him in the thing. And the cops are like, are you sure? Because we're not sure if you're sure. So let's just take a moment.
Did you make a TikTok about it?
But that said, 7 out of 10 is where I'm weighing on this one. Dave.
Okay. So, I started last year really getting tough on my ratings, and so that's new Dave. Tough but fair. I'm tough but fair.
That's why we love you and we hate you.
Yeah. Dave's an asshole.
I've always wanted to say that. We can end the podcast after this. Continue.
I like the iconicness of 50s mad scientist stuff. I brought it up. The blinking lights that serve no purpose.
Yes.
Things have to glow. It's like when soon as they started making color films, it was like we got to use this shit. And so the bright colors, the neons and the technicolors are just amazing. I watched this. I watched this 3 times this week in its entirety.
My goodness!
And the first 2 times after I watched it, I tried to like process in my head after the fact, and I thought, man, I must have drifted off. I didn't even see him get in the transporter. And so the first 2 times, I was thinking I had to watch it again, because I missed the whole transporter scene. And then the 3rd time was when I realized, oh, you know what? There isn't a him in the transporter scene. So you got me. You got me, Newman. But I also giggled at the end when Vincent Price is on the park bench and you can hear the spider being like, help me. And he's just oblivious. But then after the detective comes back out and they're like, oh no, it was he committed suicide and I forgot and I did, and they the corruption of law enforcement. Vincent Price is the devil. He corrupted law enforcement to not prosecute a murderess
that he was in love with. I forgot. We never even talked about that part.
Oh yeah, no, he is absolutely in love, and at the end, he walks off to play in the park and take the kid to the movies like a happy family. He moved in. Is it his brother's wife? He moved in on his brother's wife.
Yeah.
He's like, "Fuck you, I'm your daddy now." To the little boy.
Don't you know who I am? I'm Vincent Price.
Yeah, shit.
That was heavy currency in the 50s.
That's, I mean, 50s, hell. He's got groupies lined up waiting for him to come back from the dead so they can bone him back to death. Again, I think I said I love the fly head. I hate the acting, but I hate it in a way that makes me smile when I watch it.
The acting of the fly, or just the acting in general?
The acting in general, but of the fly when he's turned and he's like, she's passed out, and the claw hand goes forward and he grabs his own claw hand and he's like fighting with himself, and he goes over and starts erasing the board, and the fly hand is fighting with his good hand to. I don't know. It's just so, it's carried out so cheesily that it makes me smile. There's something about that is just it's like wholesome. It's like wholesome horror. I'm right in between you guys. I gave it an 8. I gave it an 8, which brings our average score exactly on an 8.
There we go. I can predict the future in a terrible kind of a way. I felt Jeff's hand hovering above the delete friend button there for a second, Dave, above you, as you're like, the acting.
It's good, old, cheesy, terrible, one-dimensional acting.
It's not the worst, though. It is definitely better.
I've
seen
some of the
cheesier acting.
Yeah. All right.
Whoa.
I am very interested to know. I tried to research, so maybe this will be good for a bonus episode if someone can help us out there. Did they just take a real fly and paint his head white? I'm pretty sure that's what they
had
did.
to.
Yeah, they just put some white ink on top of a fly's head.
Yeah, I want to know about this. How did they catch the fucking fly? How many did they have to use? How many did they lose on the set? And then were they lousy with white flies at some point? Like, we have to go to a new set. We've lost too many of the white head flies.
I'm sure there was no animal.
No PETA?
Yeah, over that film.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I had the thought watching it. I'm like, God, I would have hated to have been a cameraman for this movie, trying to get, like, the one time I think she's laying in bed and the fly lands on her stomach or something, or maybe on the bed beside of her. Just waiting there with the camera being like, anytime this fly is going to land there and I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna hit record and I just gotta wait. And then
the Steadicam wouldn't be invented until 1975.
Yeah, I mean, they just had to stand there with that, 4-ton camera, being like, all right, just gotta wait for him to get in frame.
How many cameramen held their breath till they passed out trying to get that shot?
Was funny.
All right, that about does it, though. Jeff, thank you once again for joining us in the horror house. Any final words before we sign off? Either of you?
No, I'm good.
No, thanks for coming on, Jeff. Thanks to the rabble for listening to the show, joining us. If you have any suggestions for what you want to see in the future, you want to demand more Jeff, or just fawn over Jeff, send us messages. We'll pass them on. And you can do that on Twitter at Sweetness1 or at HorrorHouse2.
You can email us, horrorhousepodcast@gmail.com, or go to the Horror House page on Facebook. Almost forgot.
you can leave us a voicemail on anchor.fm/horror house.
And last but not least, share, rate and share, and share, and then rate some more and share some more. Helps.
And then share the
immensely.
rate and rate the share.
Yeah. Let people know you rated us. Be great. Jeff, have you rated us?
Rated you.
Yeah. As podcast hosts, I'm sure you are guest star on a lot of podcasts.
I put you on the
How
spot,
do we rate?
Jeff.
How do we rate?
3 out of 10.
Oh, I definitely gave you a 5 out of 5 for sure. Before I was even
I was
invited to the show.
I for a minute you had me. I thought you were giving us a 5 out of 10, Jeff.
And that's how you keep getting invited back, Jeff.
Yeah, we gotta keep kissing his ass if we're gonna get that 5 to something respectable like a 7.
Yeah. 7 out of 5. All right. We will see everybody next time. We're out.
Bye.